All right. Well, we are at 12:04. We'll go ahead and get started today so that we can make sure we get out on time and have plenty of time for questions um, and whatnot at the end of today's session. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the Shelby County Voter Alliance Lunch and Learn with Willie Brooks, the Register of Deeds. My name is Eris Newton, and I am with Stand for Children Tennessee, one of the organizations that is part of the SCVA. And so for those who might be unfamiliar with the Shelby County Voter Alliance, a little bit about what we do. We unite nonpartisan 501c3 organizations in Shelby County that are ensuring access to the polls, registering voters, increasing voter turnout, and fighting for racial equity at the ballot box. The SCVA's mission is to build power by working with Shelby County organizations to dramatically increase voter access, engagement, and turnout using data-driven strategies and civic education. So our work is not only about turning people out to the polls, but it's also about making sure that voters are able to make informed decisions when they get there. And so while this year we might not have any local elections here in Shelby County, we are still hard at work. You can catch us this year out in the community doing voter registration drives. You can catch us out at high schools. Well, maybe not this summer, but in the fall, out at high schools registering high school seniors that are newly eligible to vote. You can catch us tabling at expungement clinics to make sure that previously disenfranchised voters are able to get registered once they are no longer disenfranchised, as well as hosting lunch and learns around important topics so that folks can learn about the responsibilities of our elected offices. Additionally, this year we'll also be working on bringing on new partners. If you are part of an organization that is interested in learning more about how to register folks out in the community or register folks who are part of your organization, we have tools, resources, trainings in order to make sure that you, and also, as well as support, to make sure that you are able to do that successfully and as part of a coalition. So one of our partners that helps us do that is Civic Tennessee. They are a statewide organization that supports organizations across the state that are doing voter registration work. And so they were unable to join us today, but they are often with us helping provide grants to fund our work, helping us set up election hubs, helping people from across the state, helping us do our work as well. And so with that, I will go ahead and pass it over to Ian Randolph to introduce us to our guests for today.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to see all of your beautiful faces here. Who we have today is Registrar Willie F. Brooks Jr. He's been a staple in the Memphis community for a very long time. He was elected in 2006 to the Memphis Charter Commission and in 2003 to the Memphis City School Board. In July 2004, he received the honor of a Broad Fellow from the Broad Institute for School Boards. He was elected to the Shelby County Board of Commissioners in August 7th, 2014, Chairman Pro Tem in 2017, and Chair in 2021. On August 5th, 2022, he was elected to the Register of Deeds, his current position. So I am so excited to be able to talk to him today because when we have these, even though I think I know a lot about what these people do, I always learn something new. So with that said, I'd like to give you Registrar Brooks. And the first question that we have, because we're going to dive right in, is what is the role of the Register of Deeds?
So let me first of all thank you for inviting me to be a part of the Lunch and Learn. It's certainly a pleasure always to increase the awareness of what this office does, and certainly thank everyone who has supported me in the past on the positions that I've held, have been elected to. I enjoy being a public servant. I certainly enjoy the job that I'm currently doing, and I want to kind of put that out front. I also have with me, I just want you to know that I have Vincent Clark, who is the administrator for my office, and I have a Pierre Merritt, who is my special assistant, that will be joining me during this presentation. You actually sent me a list of persons, and some of them I'm going to share in a presentation that I can share with the total group. But then there are some, Mr. Randolph, that I can answer for you going forward. So if you will, if you allow me to entertain those questions that you sent, and then I would include some of those in my presentation. Would they work for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So uh, let me just share with you the brief history of the Register of Deeds. This office was created in 1820, which predates my time, certainly. And going forward and looking at the history of the Register Office, from 1961 going forward, there have been five individuals who have served as the Shelby County Register of Deeds, starting with Francis Andrew, Joe Reeves, Tom Leatherwood, Shalanda Ford, and lastly, myself, Willie F. Brooks Jr., who currently serves in that seat as the Register of Deeds. The other question that was brought to my attention is his position elected or appointed? Certainly, the Shelby County Register of Deeds is an appointed position. It's elected every 4 years with a term limit of 2 terms, which is a total of 8 years. The other question was, what is the difference between a title and a deed? And the difference is that a deed is a physical document that proves ownership and is used to transfer a property from one person to another, whereas a title refers to the legal concept of the ownership of the document. So there's a difference between a title and the deed. You must have a title in order to get a deed. The deed confers that the person has received a title toward the property. And so both are essential in the real estate transactions, and we just want to make sure that there's an understanding between the title and the deed. But you have to have a title in order to get a deed. The fraud rate program, I'm going to share it in the PowerPoint presentation that I have. The other question that was that was submitted to me was whether the register of deeds had pallet payments, which is payment in lieu of taxes, agreement, or contracts for every pallet in the county, and how can one access the pallet agreement for relevant properties, and how is that data accessible? Pallet contracts are not accessible through the Shelby County Register of Deeds. We do not record those. Those are being assessed through the county trustee and or the county assessor, because through the county trustee with a pallet as such, taxes are accrued and received through the county assessor's office. And so they are tracking all pallets that are out there within Shelby County. And then lastly, again, the other questions I will share with you in my presentation. So at this point, I would like to share my presentation. Then we'll cover the other portions that were submitted to me for review.
Now, real quick, do you have your presentation virtually? If you have a file, I can share the screen.
Well, we're able to share it on this end. That's it. Right?
Okay, yes. Yes. Let me make you co-host.
Okay. Okay, just want to cover the mission of our office is to ensure the accuracy of Shelby County properties and land records and to preserve the continuity While we was there, we established the vision for this office as well as the goals. Our vision, since I came into office, to make sure that we provide exceptional customer service and accessible technology while working to exceed the expectations of the citizens of Shelby County. My goal is to make sure that we are providing accurate responses to requests, timely management of production volume, efficient operation management, and making sure that we are visible as it relates to our community service. Those was the vision that I brought forward to this office and the goals that I have set for this office going forward. As it relates to the duties of the Register Office, we are responsible for recording various legal documents pertaining to and affecting real estate transactions, a power of attorney, court orders, liens that come on property. For an example, if a person owns property and a creditor, they have not paid their bills, a creditor can file a lien on their property and put a hold on their property, and their property, until that lien is released, it will stay on their property. And all of our records are accessible to the public. Opportunities for us, one is I want to make sure that we enhance technology. When I came to the office, again, to focus on customer experience. I worked for FedEx for 37 years, so I understand the importance of being able to provide quality customer service in order that, and that's an expectation that comes from our citizens. And with other departments to address potential and suspected fraud activity and to deal with risk management. We have 3 offices located here. One is at the Mother Station, which is the office that I'm currently in. We have one downtown, which is at 157 Poplar Avenue, which is right across from the Shelby County building. And then 1254 East Shelby Drive, which is located at Southbrook Mall. As it relates to the documents and the volume that we have, technically, our volume for last year was 109,156. Average daily volume, that's including walk-ins as well, is 474. As you can see, electronically, we have what we call e-files, and then 14% of that number are people who actually walk in, and then 31% is what we receive in the mail, be it postal service and couriers. Moving to the next slide. Not only do we record documents, but we also have the archives department, and its responsibility is to preserve and provide access to Shelby County government permanent records. And these are records that are not active at the time. These are records that are considered inactive that has been moved over to the archives building. And so the opportunities there is to make sure that we're working with IT and Shelby County government as it relates to the electronic content management project and to improve technology access for various Shelby County government offices, which include all of the elected offices within Shelby County government. The location of that office is right across behind the Shelby County election building, which is 980 Nixon Drive. And our records go back from 1865, I believe, to now to the present. And we are maintaining records for all of the criminal circuit chancery courts. And every year we provide a MOU. We establish an MOU between the various offices to make sure that we have an understanding what the expectations are as relate to maintaining, retaining the records. So here you can see that recently we received a grant from the state that is pretty much carry over what we do. Benson, if you want to kind of add into what that grant was all about.
Sure. That grant was for processing supplies for the older records that are dry and falling apart. Most of it was some specialty items like acid-free folders, document repair tape, cleaning sponges, which clean dirt off of the documents, and then some Mylar sleeves, which will protect the documents that are falling apart.
Okay. And as you can see from the presentation, the number of images that have been scanned, and this is for the calendar year, this is not going all the way back, but this is the number of images that have been scanned throughout the archives department. Okay, so I talked about this office. I also want to kind of talk to you about the vision of this office and what we've done to improve the services that we provided. One is through innovation and technology. And since I've been here, we have created a mobile app that allows you to have access to the register of deeds and archive resources via your mobile device. And that can be downloaded through Apple or Android, but not on your flip phone. For those who have flip phones, we do not have an app for that. But we do able to share what we do through a mobile app, which give you completely access to all of the public records through the Shelby County Register of Deeds office. And then we talked about exemplary customer experience, which we continually review and look at how we can improve our services through customer service, be it through the counter, through the volume of calls that come through our office. We're looking at processes and procedures to address our calls. And thoroughly, which I will get into, is the fraud alert program that we've established a board with both internal and external stakeholders to address fraud activities as relate to transfer of property between the property owner and a person who come in and attempt to claim the property. And then for risk management, we have a business continuity plan that addresses establishing best practices within our office. Our archives,
Register Brooks, could
yes.
you expound a little bit on how people or organizations are able to take someone's property?
It's in my presentation. I'm in there. Unless you want me to jump to it right now.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So the register, the archives department, I have a total staff of 30. And the archive department is supported by 5 full-time and 2 temporary employees. Currently, we are filling the 2 temporary employee positions because we actually had 2 temporaries who were working from out of state through a religious organization who worked as a volunteer. They weren't temporary, they were completely volunteers who worked year-round to help us with our archives. But as I spoke earlier about the MOUs, it established the record retention and needs for what we do in maintaining their records. So I just want to make sure that we walk through that to do that. And how we do that, particularly with scanning, we have now we have 8 high definition scanners and 1 microfield scanner that enable us to deliver the quality of services expectation for all of our customers. All right, so we get into the fraud alert program. And just let me say that as part of the fraud alert program, for those who own homes, I think you would agree that owning a home is one of the largest investments that you will ever make. And for some of us, it takes 15 to 30 years to secure ownership of their property. And the fraud alert program is a free service that we provide to those who are engaged and participating in the program. When I came into this office, there were 7,000 persons who were registered to participate in that program. But since we've been here the last 2 years, our numbers have gone up to right over 32,000. So we have been working diligently to enroll persons and citizens who are property owners into our fraud alert program. So fraud occurs that when someone attempts to transfer property from one person to another, and therefore that information is recorded and transferred on. The fraud activities exist when someone checks the obituaries of funeral home websites for potential targets, driving through the neighborhood, local distressed properties where homes may be in despair, unkept properties, abandoned vehicles, board-up windows where someone may not pay their utilities. And then you have those where property appear to have squatters or drug activities. And then thirdly, I just want to share with you family members who transfer ownership without the knowledge of other heirs. And let me just say, over last year, I think we roughly had about 60 cases of fraud activity, and a large percentage of those dealt with family members who transfer ownership of property without the consent of the property owner, which could be the parent. All right. As it relates to our office, we are required to record the information by state law. If everything is completely filled out when an individual come in and submit a quick claim through our office, and if they meet all the requirements in relationship to state law, we are required to record it. So I just want to share with you how that happens. As I spoke earlier about our fraud task force, the purpose of that is to deter fraudulent filings of quick claims and affidavit of errors, asserting to raise public awareness of steps that can be pursued in the event of suspected fraud activities, and to make sure that we are establishing a relationship with other Shelby County offices that might be affected by the fraudulent filing, which could be MPD and other departments. We work through the Shelby County Assessor as well, and County Trustee. So those are some of the offices that we interface with. So we are having meetings, and I think, Vince, if you want to kind of speak to that, the frequency of our meetings to talk about fraud and filings and what we're going through in terms of the cases that came through our office.
Okay. We try to meet quarterly. It consists of a member of the Memphis Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, the Trustee's Office, the Assessor's Office, and a lawyer from one of the local title companies. So we try to meet quarterly. One of the things we've developed is quick claim letters for mail out. Anytime a quick claim is filed in person, somebody will get a letter stating such, because they may not know. Sometimes it could be decades before someone knows that their property has actually been stolen. And I know that sounds odd, but that's one of the reasons behind the whole fraud alert program as well, is so that you get notification immediately. We hope to be drafting some signage in the next couple of months, basically as a warning to people coming in that, we're going to report suspected fraudulent activity, and that we're not going to help people in document preparation. Can you go back one register? Just so our everyone watching knows, this particular quick claim here is a fraudulent quick claim, and that is a forged signature under the middle of the page. Those are the things that we look out for and work with the police department. We get them video surveillance footage, which we have in all 3 of our locations. We also review at the fraud task force meetings some of the fraudulent quick claims and affidavit of airships that have come before them. Just in the last quarter, we probably had 6 to 10 fraudulent quick claims come through the office that we're aware of. One of which the person that transferred the property had been dead for 5 years. So that's the kind of stuff that we are on the lookout for, and hope that people will report to us so that we can give them some guidance. That's pretty much what we attempt to do, and we promote the fraud alert program because you'll get a hit anytime somebody records something with a name similar to yours. You'll get an email notification.
Thank you, Betsy. So how does one enroll into the fraud alert program? Basically, and I'm out participating and talking to neighborhood associations. We're attending various activities that exist in the community, and I'm always welcome, glad to come out and talk to neighborhood associations, churches, any group that will allow. I'm beginning to talk to fraternities and sororities, because I really have a commitment. We want to make sure that we are enrolling as many persons as we can into the fraud alert program. Once a person downloads the app, you go into and click in it, you basically just saying your first name, the last name, and your email address. And you click the link, and therefore you're added into the program. It is important because when a property is transferred and you have no knowledge, that person can take that opportunity to sell that property without your consent. They can go out there and borrow money and a lien on their property, and you don't even know it. So this program is completely free. And then there are other organizations or companies, if I will, that are selling the services that they get from us. For an example, LifeLock. You can close this out. LifeLock. Uh, LifeLock advertise on TV about protecting your property, but guess what? That information is actually coming from our office. I had another vendor that sent me a request for a copy of my deed, and it looked legit when it came in the mail. But guess what? You get a copy of your deed free. It's accessed on our line. So we provide services that are free to the public that no one really probably have a clear understanding of. And unlike me, probably other people who read down, and this particular vendor was actually sending a request for me and wanted to charge me $89 to get a copy of my deed. And guess what? We normally read, just like your utility bill, you want to look at the numbers. You don't read the whole bill down. And so when you don't do that, you don't have a clear understanding of what they're asking for. But to let you know that everything that we do is public access. And so we want to make sure that we are visible, that we're increasing awareness, that we're serving the citizens of Shelby County.
We had a quick question around this current topic. Some people don't know what a quit claim deed is, and why is that the vehicle that's used for fraud?
A quit claim is a form that's used to transfer property, and it can be downloaded on our website, or a person can have get it done, secure the form coming through our office, but it has to be notarized in order for the form to be considered a legal document. But that form is used to transfer property from one person to the other.
Thank you.
Let me just share, I can share some examples of some fraudulent activities. And it's mainly targeted at senior citizens because for the most part, as you well know, as I indicated earlier in the presentation, typically it takes 15 to 30 years. If you acquire property and you get on that conventional loan for 30 years, you're probably gonna be at least, 50, 60 years old, unlike Mr. Randolph, who may pay his property just going in and pay it off in 12 months. We are in a position to say, hey, this is your property. The person come in, and like I said, we've had family members. I can give you an example where I had a father came in because he noticed that his property had been transferred. His daughter came in and did a quit claim deed. She had 4 other siblings. She completed the quit claim. It got recorded. Now that property is divided among 6 people. He had no knowledge that was being done. He did not consent to it. He didn't know till he came in and found out his property had been divided in 6 parts without his consent. And the only way you can correct that is you either have the parties have to agree to quit claim it back to you, or you have to take it to a transfer court. Another example is where I know you're familiar with sovereign citizens because you've heard it on TV. Sovereign citizens from time to time will come in and try to quit claim property and take ownership of someone's house. If we know it, in other words, if that person identified themselves as sovereign citizens, I have instructed my staff that we will not process that quit claim. But just keep in mind that a quit claim, it normally takes 24 to 48 hours to be recorded as part of permanent records. And once it's recorded, the only way it can be removed, well, it can't be removed. You either have to go to transfer court, or the party that transferred the property has agreed to quit claim it back to the owner.
All right. We want to take a few questions from the audience. And if you are a participant and you have a question, please put it in the chat. We will not let you off mute. Put it in the chat. The first question is, I recently inherited a property from my uncle as the sole beneficiary. He has a lien on the property, which he set up as a protection against quit claim fraud. Should I keep the lien, or is that no longer necessary?
And
And
I had muted, if you would unmute yourself, I had muted you well.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with a lien on a property that protects the property per se. Typical lien, well, I guess you got a lien on, you can't sell it until that lien is being released on that property. That's one. Enrolling in the Fraud Alert Program provides an opportunity for you to be notified should a transfer occur on your property. So anytime that that's the purpose of our program of participating in the Fraud Alert Program. It gives you an alert and it gives you an opportunity to investigate or take corrective action as relate to the property. If a lien is on the property, that just means that that property can still be sold with a lien. It depends on what that lien says. So say for an example, if a creditor, let's say a creditor, you have a $5,000 lien on the property. When that property is sold, let's say it's sold for $100,000, and I'm using a lien on this 5,000. When I sell that property, when that property is sold through the title company, they will pay off that lien and still transfer their property because it's been sold. So a lien doesn't necessarily guarantee that that property cannot be transferred or sold. Am I right, Vince?
That's correct.
Yes. That answer the question?
yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right, do we have, okay, the next question. Why can't a fraudulent quit claim be reversed if it is done illegally or without a power of attorney? It seems that a victim of fraud has to pay.
Yes, that is correct. Whenever a fraudulent claim is filed, it either has to be the consent of the other party to quit claiming it back to the property owner, or the property owner has to take that person to chancery court to get it corrected. We are not bound by going in and making any changes to that property without the consent of the courts or the victim who has submitted the quit claim.
All right, I think that answered that question. Is there another question from our audience? I know while you were talking, maybe I should have paid more attention, but I went to your website and I found the fraud alert section. I've already signed up for fraud alert. I already found the section where I could get a copy of my deed of trust, and I've printed out the deed of trust while you were talking. So like I said, when we first opened this, you know, even though I think I know a lot about different offices around the city and the county, I always learn something new when we do a lunch and learn, and I'm very appreciative of the information that you've shared with us today. So I'm gonna make one more call out for questions if anyone would like to put one in the chat. All right, we've got a couple that have popped up. What's the difference between a parcel and a property?
So the difference between a parcel and a property is the same. They're one of the same. Your home that it sits on is a parcel, so it's one of the same.
And a lot. A lot is the subdivision lot. Different than the parcel.
All right, I hope that answered the question. The next one. How are renters affected by Register of Deeds office? Please come off mute to answer.
Renters are not affected unless they attempt to acquire property.
Right.
If you're renting a piece of property, it has no impact on you unless you attempt to purchase some property or secure a loan, and then that's where a lien may be put on the property per se. But technically, it would not affect this office. We handle real estate transactions.
Okay, I'm not sure about the question. The way it's written is, how do I get a loan title? If the person that asked that would like to clarify in the chat, and I can re-ask.
Alonio title.
Repeat that, please.
Yeah, I know I didn't spell it right.
Clarify your question.
Can you clarify that? Oh,
Alonio title. I may not be pronouncing or spelling.
in the chat is Allodial, but he's not sure of the spelling.
Oh, okay. Am I on mute? Yeah. Oh, I'm on mute. Okay. I am not familiar with that type of title. Basically, the titles we record here in our office are property titles. One, again, with it's a transfer of property from one person to the other in terms of home, residential, as well as commercial property. So I am not familiar with that type of title.
We had another question that pertained to something that you covered a little bit earlier. They wanted to know how they could find access to the deed of trust or copy of their title from your website.
So we actually, can we go? I can take you to the website.
That'd be perfect.
All right, let's go to the website.
I think you got to share the screen first.
Yeah, I want
Okay. There it is.
yeah.
Are you able to share screen?
Yeah, we're gonna do that now. Okay, this is the Shelby County Register of Deeds. This is how you access our office. You click on property search. Once you click on property search, you add the names of the person that you want to look up property. I'm putting my name.
Put in Smith
Type in,
and John.
okay, so here you see the records of John Smith. But if you notice, you got a John A. Smith, you got a John B. Smith, you got, so you see the different names. And you can go and either select all, or you can select one. And as you can see the number of documents that tie to each of the names. So Vince, if you click on one, it shows the history and the transaction of the property. So here you see where the grantor and the grantee. And so, for example,
That's a mortgage.
That's a mortgage there where he is highlighted. It gives an address, and it shows where that information is recorded. And that's also a copy of the deed of trust. So if you go events, if you click on where it's a REL, click on that. That's a release. Shows where the bank released the property over to John Smith. So apparently John satisfied the requirements, and therefore there was a lease on the property, which removes the lien off the property. Okay, go back down. Okay, scroll down. All right, here is a quick claim that was filed on that same property, and that's what we was talking about on the quick claim deed. Shows the document, the names of the persons that filed the quick claim deed. Also scroll down. Shows when it was notarized. And let me just say, the notary is very important because he or she validates that the information that's being submitted is supposed to be accurate. We've had examples where a notary did not validate the information correctly, therefore it resulted in a fraud claim case. Secondly, sometimes we also have noticed where persons will go out there and get a document notarized, and the notary has expired, which makes that document invalid. So it's important to make sure. The person funding is actually who? Yeah. So we want to make sure that, if you file a quick claim and and it has to be notarized, that you make sure that the notary license has not expired. Are there any questions regarding this? If you go back to the front page of the homepage. Homepage of the register. Okay, so
And
scroll.
for demonstration purposes,
So here,
can you show us the fraud alert?
Yeah, that's what I was going to go to. So go to click on fraud alert. All right, drop down. Here you sign up for the fraud alert program. Scroll down and there's a disclaimer that you must accept. Then here's where you add your name, first and last name, and an email address. It's just that simple. So if someone is out there now that wants to be added to the program, we can do it as we speak, and you would immediately get a response via email that you've been added to the fraud alert program. And this could be personal or business.
Does that expire?
No. It does not expire. Good question.
Okay, next question.
Yes.
If you have paid off your home, would there be like a relief or something recorded with your office?
A release, yes.
Yes, it would be. The release would come from the institution that financed the mortgage.
All right, did we have any other questions for Register Brooks?
There's some in the chat.
Yeah, I call myself going through all of those unless there have been some more added. All right, for those of you who have been in my meetings, know how I do questions. So going once, going twice.
Hey, I've got a question. I'll go ahead and ask mine off mute. So we've heard a lot of terms today, quick claim deed, releases. If you don't know what those words mean, is there a resource that where you can learn more about what these various terms mean?
So you can certainly feel free to call our office in 222-8000. 8100 222-8100, and we have the processing clerks that can assist you in any question that you may have as related to your property and the terminology of what you want.
Also, I'm going to drop in the chat. I found on the website a glossary.
I have a question, Ian. Yeah.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Yeah, and my question for Mr. Brooks is really regarding, the fraud of seniors. And, I'm just kind of really thinking about seniors that might live alone and have no idea that their property has been fraudulently taken from them. What resource or what would you recommend for a senior who is not tech savvy and just unaware? Where could they go, or what support could we share or offer, to help them to even, to even get them more aware? And or if this has happened to them, what support, does your office provide, to help see them through this?
Sure. Yeah.
So, me being a victim of identity theft, and I clearly understand where you're going, we try to, and we do try to register as many seniors into our program so they would have some awareness, but we also encourage family members to engage in this process in order that they can help monitor activity as relate to their parents, aunts, and uncles, so that they become fully knowledgeable. Because, as you may know, seniors, I happen to be one of them, quite frankly, but seniors, a lot of seniors do not have email addresses. And a lot of them receive phone calls every day. I know my father, who's 93 years old, he get a lot of scam calls every day of people calling him, asking him to buy this and that, or do they want to sell his home? And even now, I receive scam calls of me asking me to, do I want to transfer or sell my property that has been sold 3 or 4 years ago. So there are databases that are out there from various scam companies that are out there trying to secure property of property owners, and particularly, like I said, target seniors. So it's incumbent on all of us to work with them. And I'd be glad again to come out and speak to various groups. I do that. I have been to some senior citizens places and talked to seniors and actually enrolled them into our program. But it does require some support from family members to engage in that as well, because even with them enrolling, once they get something, and what happens is when you get a fraud alert, it's actually coming through your phone as a text that something has happened, quite frankly. And so being engaged is so important, and working with those seniors just to know. I monitor, because I was a victim of identity theft, I monitor my accounts quite frequently just to make sure that there's no transaction that occurred that I don't agree with. And so even if we as family members, friends, or what have you, will go out there and just monitor once a month to see if there's any activity that's going on our property, will be a plus.
All right, I think that was the last of our questions. It's 12:53, and we like to start on time and end on time. So with that said, if you would like to see any of our past Lunch and Learn programs, they are available at our YouTube site. I have just posted that in the chat. And if you have an organization that would, or because we have a ton of volunteers, half of the work that we do, we could not do without our volunteers. So if you know someone that would like to volunteer or have their org start working with the Shelby County Voter Alliance, that includes sororities and fraternities, I have posted a link to our website. You can go down there and scroll either volunteer or partner organizations, and you can click one of those links to do either one of them. We also have a MOU online that we sign with our organizations. Uh, the link to that has been posted in the chat as well. So with that said, again, I would like to thank Register Willie Brooks for doing our lunch and learn today. As I said earlier, I've learned a lot. I've already signed up for the fraud alert. I've already printed out my personal deed of trust. So thank you for that information. And with that said, I'm going to return 5 minutes of everyone's day back. Thank you, thank you, thank you for attending. Our next Lunch and Learn, I believe, is on June 18th, and that is with Heidi Kuhn, one of our Shelby County Court clerks. So until then,
Ms. Randolph, can I
yes,
just say, if to the audience again, thank you for inviting me to be a part of your lunch and learn. If any of y'all would like for me to come out and speak to a particular group, I will be glad to do that. You can call my office and schedule an appointment, and I will certainly be glad to do this. I want to make sure that we are available to provide as much information to the public as we can.
thank you. And with that said, I'd like everyone to have a wonderful afternoon, and I hope to see you again for our next Lunch and Learn with Heidi Kuhn, the lady that does the expungement clinics around the city. Have a great day.